It is adult autism, middle-aged man being told he's autistic by a young clinical psychologist who, so there's many conflicting things there. He's, he has to get to trust her first before he'll let someone who's half his age tell him what's, all about his own mind. And then that starts making him think about the past and about what he would have done differently if he'd have known this in the past about himself. But it's the way that he deals with it is this is where the play is kind of split. Is he manifests all of his processing of these, all this new information about his own mentality. That is manifest on stage by him being in a strange, unknown space with no identity. He doesn't remember who he is or why he's there. He doesn't know what this place is. He's forced to replicate drum patterns and drum beats that come from an unknown source, which we call the controller. And in this particular part, of the set, he's just referred to as the captain, and he's confined to a space. He can't go outside of this space. It's just a rectangle on the floor, represented by that on stage. He can't leave that rectangle, otherwise he gets like shocks from a metal collar. It's all very strange. So it's kind of like he's being conditioned, he's being controlled, he's being forced to replicate these beats, and then when he does it successfully, he's allowed to step outside of the rectangle and he can get things like food and drink, everything he needs. But it's basically a manifestation of how he's actually dealing with this new information about himself at age 50. And character's called Eve, the young clinical psychologist, played by Megan Ferry here, and the controller, which takes on the persona of a character, but you never actually see them, you just hear them, is all the music and the beats and everything will be done by Alex here, otherwise known as Outrider. He's a DJ, musician, producer. So that's a really exciting element of all this as well, that it's going to have a lot of live beats, rhythms, drums. It's going to get the audience, bouncing and buzzing. Myself and a lot of other people have realised later on in life that if we'd have had the same levels of awareness of things like autism, ADHD, ADD, all these other kind of, mental, positions that your mind can be in. If we'd have had the information as freely then, and if it was spoken about, and, we came from a time when if you mentioned anything like this, it was considered, it's a bit taboo, and what are you saying? So you're mentally unstable? And it's like, no, I just think differently, and I need to understand why and how to live with that. So there is that, there, because I'm like that myself, and quite a few people of my age that I know have found this out recently, in their lives. And like I say, initially it's like a bit annoying that we didn't have that, but it's great to see that now people can just be open and free about all this and say, I need help with this, I need to understand this and process it, and I can get on with my life.
Well, we used to work together. This is my first time meeting Megan. That's pretty much it. I used to know him from Bernardo. It was a job that we used to share. And then Craig, how do you know Megan?
Megan was, I was doing the casting along with someone else for this role. So we had quite a few people that came up for the role of Eve, and we chose Megan. So she got this role because she's just perfect for it in many ways. I'll let her explain actually, because there's a good sort of interesting bit about Megan's other skills which help with this.
Strange parallels between myself and the character, really, because obviously she's a clinical psychologist, the character of Eve, and I am also a psychologist. I just got my PhD in psychology, but I act as well, and Eve has also got a creative side to her as well, so it's strangely similar to my own kind of experience.
And did you know